story we have been following throughout the past 2 days surrounds the superstar herself, Caitlin Clark, the WNBA star, the Indiana Fever star, Caitlin Clark. She's going to miss all the action on the court.
Caitlin Clark gets hurt, and guess what? Your demand vanishes because people ain't going to pay up to see these athletes that are ungrateful that their sport's growing. People aren't paying up for that. And we are here, right here. The tickets for this game, for this All-Star game, they've dropped by 50%.
What was supposed to be Caitlin Clark's coronation week in Indianapolis turned into a nightmare for the WNBA. The city covered the JW Marriott with a massive 34-story Clark mural, expecting record crowds and revenue. Instead, there were empty seats, angry fans, and boycotts of the All-Star game. Everyone's asking the same thing. How did the league turn its biggest star's hometown celebration into a financial disaster? And what did Cathy Engelbert finally say about the officiating crisis? Her answer revealed everything wrong with how the WNBA treats the players who bring in fans.
You come to Indianapolis, look, this is what everybody's been talking about. This right here, Caitlin Clark, the banner right there on the JW Marriott. It's 34 stories banner, unbelievable, is the largest banner ever on the JW Marriott. You may think about the bracket. Remember back in the NCAA tournament back in 2021? Yeah, it's bigger than that as well. 113,000 square feet. It is unbelievable. And you see what it says, from downtown in my town. No doubt, this is something that is grabbing everyone's attention. And who else better to be on that than the star herself, Caitlin Clark?
Indianapolis had prepared for months. The airport had an all-star replica court, local shops stocked up, and hotels hired extra staff. Gainbridge Fieldhouse sold out within hours, with resale tickets averaging $262 and top seats going for thousands, the most expensive all-star tickets in WNBA history.
Really unfortunate that Caitlin Clark missed it. The crowd would have been exploding. The crowd would have been exploding. The arena would have been exploding. Oh man, a big miss as far as the WNBA is concerned.
Then came July 17th. Clark's groin injury announcement hit social media, and everything collapsed. Ticket prices plummeted from $262 to $64 an hour, a 75% drop. Sellers panicked, trying to unload tickets at massive losses.
From $121 all the way down to just $64 after news broke that Caitlin Clark won't be playing. These are people saying, I'm done. I don't want to watch. Caitlin Clark's not. I bought tickets solely to watch Caitlin Clark in the All-Star game. I made accommodations solely to get to Indiana to watch Caitlin Clark in the All-Star game. She's injured. I have no interest in that anymore. People are selling their tickets so much so they just want off of them. 121, okay. You want it for 100? Oh no, okay. I guess I gotta lower it to 80. Oh, you don't want to buy it for 80? Okay, I guess I'll lower it to 70. You don't want to buy it to 70? I guess I'll lower it to $64. The WNBA is paying attention to these trends, and they're seeing firsthand what Caitlin Clark is worth to this league.
This wasn't new, but it had never happened at this scale. Earlier in the season, when Clark missed games with a quad strain, ticket prices fell 47% in Washington and 71% in Chicago. But those were regular season games. This was her hometown All-Star weekend, and the crash was unprecedented.
The ticket prices, the demand fell off a cliff. And it's not just the on-court product that suffers without number 22, Caitlin Clark. The entire weekend's economic opportunities have felt the fallout.
For the first time in nearly 2 years, Gainbridge Fieldhouse faced a non-sellout. Businesses that had invested thousands in merchandise and hospitality faced heavy losses as cancellations rolled in. The economic ripple hit all of downtown Indianapolis almost overnight.
But when it comes to the vendors in the arena, the shops in the arena, they're not going to have the same amount of people patronize their business as they would if Caitlin Clark was there. The surrounding restaurants, the surrounding areas, the surrounding attractions, they're not going to have the same number of people patronize their business as they would if Caitlin Clark was healthy.
This wasn't just one player missing one game. It was a message. Fans made it clear who drives WNBA interest. When other stars sit out, prices don't crash. The market was saying, without Clark, it's not worth it. The All-Star collapse exposed what the league didn't want to admit. The season's success rested on one player.
This year, for the second time ever, the WNBA All-Star Game was supposed to feature an actual star. Normally, this celebration of pretend basketball features players that no one's ever heard of.
Clark's injury didn't come from nowhere. It was the result of months of unchecked physical play that referees refused to control. Opponents learned they could grab, shove, and hammer her, and the whistles never came.
How did we get to an All-Star game in Indiana where Caitlin Clark is not healthy enough to play? Well, it all started last year, in her rookie season, where she received 20% of all the flagrant fouls in the league. And most of them came from Angel Reese in the Chicago Sky. And these weren't basketball plays. They were not only fouling her, but they were getting up, laughing about it, laughing about Caitlin Clark getting assaulted. Any other work environment, people go to jail for what's going on.
Coach Stephanie White saw it coming. She'd been calling out the officiating double standard all season, saying Clark faced rougher treatment than anyone else. She wasn't exaggerating. Clark was getting hit game after game while refs looked away.
Yeah, I mean, there's a level of physicality that they're able to play with against her. I knew it as an opponent, and I see it as her coach. I'm not exactly sure why, but it just is what it is. And we've got to help her learn to adjust and use it against them in certain ways. We've got to find some ways to make it a little bit easier for her. But the level of physicality overall in our league has been at a different level than it's been for a long time.
The Washington Post even called out the league's second-rate officiating, saying the WNBA could change its logo to a bruise and motto to no call. Videos showed defenders grabbing, shoving, and fouling Clark constantly. With refs just watching, targeting her became an actual defensive strategy.
And last year, I noticed how much it was just Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark was taking all the hits. Caitlin Clark was taking all the abuse. But this year they've added Sophie Cunningham. She gets more flagrant fouls on her than anybody in the league besides Caitlin Clark. And Aaliyah Boston, she's been taking hits as well. But the worst thing is the consistency. So they don't call flagrant fouls, or most of the time Caitlin Clark could be held for an entire game at a time. They don't call fouls. They don't call common fouls. But then when it's the Indiana Fever, guess what? Touch foul here, touch foul here. They call absolutely nothing.
Other leagues protect their stars. The WNBA didn't. Clark got no protection while officials acted like they forgot their jobs. A post-analysis showed 57 head and neck injuries in just 2.5 seasons, mostly among guards and small forwards. That's not coincidence. It's a pattern of dangerous play. Lisa Leslie, who once suffered a groin injury, warned it can linger for months or years. Now Clark faces that same risk because refs didn't do theirs. This wasn't bad luck. It was the predictable result of a league failing to protect its top player, costing millions in revenue and trust.
Actually had that injury 2006, and listen, I was heavily taped around my thigh, around my glute, just trying to make sure there was enough pressure to hold that groin. And the hard part is that the groin is sort of an area that you can't just touch and go, it hurts right here. You feel it deep. You have to get a lot of deep treatment, whether it's ice and heat and rest. Well, Caitlin Clark, she can't find a lot of rest right now because she's mid-season. But I think that injury is really tough because it lingers. No matter how much medicine you take, you can feel fine. You get back out there, one move, one change of direction, and boom, you're right back feeling that same type of pain. So it's going to be a tough injury that she's going to have to manage.
How long did it take you to recover from?
To be honest, Tracy, I play tennis and I can still feel that injury linger because I don't know that it ever really goes away. You just learn to manage and play with it.
As fans boycotted and ticket sales collapsed, everyone waited for Cathy Engelbert's response. It was her chance to show leadership and fix the officiating crisis. Instead, she delivered a corporate, tone-deaf statement that made fans angrier.
A bunch of players and coaches over the last few days have complained without being fine-worthy about officiating, I just want to see about your thoughts on if officiating is an issue and how it can be improved, because clearly there seems to be problems or disconnect between what players and coaches feel and what officials are actually calling.
When pressed about refereeing, Engelbert said her meetings with 40-plus players were productive and constructive. She completely avoided the real issue. Fans didn't want polished PR. They wanted accountability for the refs who let Clark get beaten up.
I know as a fan of sports for 60 years now, I know that, no one's ever happy with officiating. All sports deal with it, but we're working hard to make sure we're putting the best product out on the court, and our officiating then follows that.
Meanwhile, the economic fallout was visible across Indianapolis. Ticket prices were crashing, vendors were losing money, and businesses were suffering. But Engelbert talked about profitability and shared goals like nothing was wrong. What fans wanted was simple: admit the officiating was terrible, promise to protect players like Clark, and stop letting opponents target her. Instead, they got corporate talk about dialogue. Her tone-deaf response proved league leadership was completely disconnected from both fans and players.
They play against Breanna Stewart. She goes to the line 14 times. Asia Wilson goes to the line 13 times. And Aaliyah Boston can't play 20 minutes in a game without being on the bench in foul trouble. That's another problem that we're dealing with. But like I said, this year, it's not just Caitlin Clark. If you wear that Indiana Fever jersey, consider it done. The refs are not going to be fair, and they are going to cheat and do whatever it takes to do what the higher-ups say.
Engelbert's weak leadership has fans questioning whether the WNBA can change. When your top star gets hurt because refs won't protect her, and your response is empty talk, you've lost credibility. Fans stopped buying tickets. The All-Star Game became what many called an abomination to basketball. Without Clark, the product fell flat. Empty seats, no energy, terrible basketball. What should have been the showcase event of the year looked more like a scrimmage nobody cared about.
I mean, you're going to mess around and a large, massive group of fans are going to be like, enough is enough. We've never had to see anything like it in sports, but you don't see these other leagues going around talking crazy about their fan bases all the time like this league does. It's continuous. They're running their mouth about the people that are paying money to see them. You don't have other jobs where people walk up. You're in a public job that's in front of the world.
Then came the 4-point shot gimmick, making things worse. Instead of real competition, fans got a glorified layup line with no defense or intensity. The highlight of the weekend wasn't the game. It was the New York Liberty's mascot recruiting Clark courtside. That stunt got more attention than the All-Star Game itself. The Liberty understood something the league didn't: how to value a superstar.
Mascot is going through Caitlin shit. Yeah, just going through. I'm going to tell you, Leah Boston, let's break down her face right now. I am not happy with the Liberty mascot invading our home turf right here. I mean, that mascot's cute. That mascot's cute. It is. She's having fun, but, it's the Liberty mascot. So, of course, that is what everybody notices, right? After the meeting, the WWE style meeting in the back of the arena, right? As the heels are all meeting together, Breanna Stewart and Sabrina and Sandy Barndello, basically the Liberty, and of course the recruiting into the Four Horsemen. They're recruiting Caitlin Clark.
That recruiting moment said it all. This was the WNBA's first real test without Clark, and it failed spectacularly. Her absence exposed how dependent the league is on one player. The Clark effect isn't just about stats or tickets. It's about the future of women's basketball. This all-star debacle proved the WNBA can't sustain its momentum without her. Fans voted with their wallets, and the message was loud and clear: strip away Clark's star power, and the league's product suddenly feels empty. Poor officiating, tone-deaf leadership, and fan disconnect created this mess. The WNBA had a generational talent and record-breaking momentum, and turned it into a cautionary tale. This isn't the end of Caitlin Clark's story. It's fans demanding better from a league that needs real change. The question now, will the WNBA learn from this expensive lesson, or keep making the same mistakes until there's nothing left to save?